The Attorney General has defended the no further action decision on Zahid's cases. Meanwhile, a figure close to Muhyiddin Yassin has suggested that now is the right time to allow PAS to lead Perikatan Nasional. Stay tuned for all this and more on KiniNews. The Attorney General was questioned about the NFA on Zahid Hamidi's case. This was what he said about the matter.
Attorney General Dusuki Mokhtar has defended the decision to take no further action on 47 corruption charges involving Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zaid Hamidi amid criticism over the move. When questioned by reporters today, Dusuki stressed that the decision was not made lightly.
Ada setengah kes di mana telah pun dipanggil balik dah disabitkan di peringkat Mahkamah Tinggi. Di Mahkamah Rayuan kita tengok balik. Dan ada keperluan untuk kes di reduce dan diturun pengaturan. Banyak berlaku dalam kes-kes walaupun dah disabitkan. Jadi ada apabila orang kata prima facie dah ada. Ini daripada ini pandangan yang tak tepat lah. Ya, with due respect lah. Jadi secara lanjutlah mendapati bahawa tidak ada keperluan lagi dah untuk kes diteruskan. Dia dah dilute, ya. Kes yang dipanggil membela diri ataupun prima facie tadi. Jadi itu yang kita ambil keputusan NFA. Saya buat keputusan bukan suka-suka.
Zahid was granted a discharge not amounting to an acquittal over the case linked to Yayasan Akalbudi on September 4, 2023. On January 8, the AGC declared it would not pursue the charges, referring to detailed investigations carried out by the MACC, covering aspects related to the source of funds, methods of acquisition, and the use of the funds concerned in making the decision.
Anthony Loke said there was no need for the post by Yin on Najib Abdul Razak's house arrest case. In a podcast, he stated that the matter could have been handled better.
DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke said he disagreed with a social media post by fellow party leader Yin regarding former Premier Najib Abdul Razak, following the latter's failed bid for house arrest. Speaking on the Chinese language podcast, The Keywords, Loke said he felt the controversy was unnecessary and could have been managed more carefully. He stressed that DAP's position on Najib's cases is already clear, and it was Najib's case that had triggered the call for reforms leading to BN's fall and the change of government in 2018. Loke added that Najib has since faced legal consequences and is serving the punishment he deserves. As such, he believes the party's objectives have already been achieved and that there is no need to add another stab. He also pointed out that, like it or not, Najib is a former UMNO leader, and DAP is currently part of the same Madani government as UMNO. While DAP maintains its principles and stance, Loke said cooperation within a shared government requires care in language, communication, and interactions so as not to damage relationships. Loke revealed that he had conveyed his views to Yo, stressing that he was neither blaming nor reprimanding her, but simply expressing that the actions were unnecessary and the remarks did not need to be made. He said, if you want to be joyful, just be joyful privately, and there is no need to express everything. In hindsight, he said Yo could have handled the matter better.
From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us.
Muhyiddin's former senior private secretary has suggested that PAS should lead Perikatan Nasional.
Muhyiddin Yassin's former senior private secretary, Marzuki believes the time is right for PAS to take the lead in Perikatan Nasional. In a post on Facebook, he said the move should be made in the interest of PN stability, given that PAS is the strongest party in the coalition. On concerns among the public, particularly non-Muslims, over the approach PAS may bring, Marzuki said the matter could be set aside for the time being. What matters, he stated, is that PAS's strengths compared to other component parties is important to ensure stability within PN. Acknowledging that his relationship with PAS has experienced both highs and lows, Marzuki said a new chapter would begin if PAS were to assume leadership of PN. He said it would be the first time in our country's political history that an Islamic party leads a national coalition, and this is a new experiment. He added that of course there will be those who worry, those who feel anxious, and those who criticize. At times, he said, criticism would be expressed gently, and at other times harshly, but that is the nature of democracy. He added that they should accept the criticism and not label critics with all sorts of labels. On whether the experiment would succeed, Marzuki said he does not yet have an answer. In fact, He said he is still not convinced, but wishes them all the best.
Meanwhile, 3 PN youth chiefs had a 2-hour meeting with Muhyiddin Yassin at his home today, where they voiced their views on his resignation.
3 Perikatan Nasional youth chiefs today conveyed their respective wings' views to Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin regarding his resignation as PN chairperson. In a statement, MIPP youth chief Justin Prabhakaran said he, together with Bersatu and Gerakan's youth chief, had proposed that Muhyiddin reconsider his decision and withdraw his resignation in order to continue leading the federal opposition coalition. Justin said the youth wings respect Muhyiddin's decision, but cautioned that his resignation would affect PN's image, particularly ahead of the next general election. He added that to win an election, PN must be led by a figure who can unite the coalition and secure the support of the majority of Malaysians. Therefore, he said all 3 youth wings are of the view that this matter must be resolved through consensus as provided for under Clause 8.3(1) of the PN Constitution. He also stated that the youth wing's view that the PN chairperson must be a party president who holds executive power and the authority to make policy decisions to ensure smooth administration. He further said that any differing interpretation regarding a leader's eligibility to assume the PN chairperson's post should be referred to Clause 20 of the PN Constitution. According to Justin, the relevant clause states that if any confusion arises regarding the interpretation, arrangement, and meaning of any provisions in this Constitution or any of its rules and standing orders, then the interpretation, arrangement, and the meaning of that clause, as decided by the majority vote of members of the Supreme Council, shall apply and be final.
If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe.
Back to Muhyiddin's resignation yesterday, Justin had responded to past President Abdul Hadi Awang's call for an urgent Supreme Council meeting to address the appointment of a new PN chairperson.
2 PN component youth chiefs has responded to past President Abdul Hadi Awang's call for an urgent Supreme Council meeting to address the appointment of a new PN chairperson. The call followed Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin's resignation as PN chairperson. Speaking to Malaysia Kini, MIPP Youth Chief Justin Prabhakaran said individual component parties should first be given sufficient time to deliberate on the matter. When contacted, he said components should be allowed to prepare before any urgent meeting is convened. He stressed that respect for consensus is crucial, adding that the coalition needs a chairperson who is moderate, inclusive, and capable of working cohesively with all components in Malaysia's multi-ethnic society. He said, there is an established process to be followed, and expressed hope that all components would work together in that spirit. Separately, Bersatu Youth Chief Hilman Idham also urged Hadi to respect other PN component parties. He said Bersatu would be taking several positions at the upcoming Supreme Council meeting, which is expected to be held soon. According to Free Malaysia Today, Hilman said the same applied to PAS and other PN components such as Gerakan and MIPP. On January 10th, Hadi had sent a letter to PN Supreme Council members saying the urgent meeting must be called to confirm Muhyiddin's resignation and appoint a replacement, believed to be from PAS.
Azam Baki has clarified the roles of Albert Tay and Badru Hisham Shaharin. He said both were not whistleblowers.
MACC Chief Commissioner Azam Baki said neither businessperson Albert Tay nor Port Dickson Bersatu Chief Badrul Hisham Shaharin or Cheguban is a whistleblower. Azam explained that Badrul was a complainant, not a whistleblower. He went to the police station, made a report, and only then did he make a public statement. Speaking on Berita Harian's podcast, he said Badrul was not even involved in the crime in question. Meanwhile, he said Tay is not a complainant, but someone who is involved as a suspect. Since November 2024, Tay has released a slew of videos, screenshots, and documents allegedly implicating several Sabah leaders. He claimed that politicians accepted money from him in exchange for mineral exploration licenses, which were later cancelled, prompting him to expose the scandal. As for Badrul, the Bersatu leader had alleged that a forensic review of documents he received anonymously showed monthly transactions amounting to tens of thousands of ringgit credited into the account of a senior army officer and his family members.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm John. Thanks for watching.